Hello Internet, welcome to the Blade Showcase for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and today we're going to be looking at yet another Ether Cannon, and this happens to be my favorite blade in the entire game. It's Sheba. For those of you guys that that might remember from my money farming video, is that I hinted towards this particular character. The reason why I did is because the more money you invest in this character, the stronger she becomes, and because you can potentially obtain her very early in the game, she can be a huge benefit to plowing through the main story. So the thing about Sheba, you might have noticed when you were in Torrigoth playing the story mode, that there was a inherited core crystal in the odds and ends shop. This one was worth 500,000 gold, and obviously it seems like a steep price, but it is well worth the price of admission because she is a total monster, in my opinion. So let's have a quick look at her abilities. The first thing you'll notice is that she has Desert Bomb, which is a large AoE attack, and it does damage based on how much health the driver has. Unlike with Azami, where her level 1 special was a damage boost based on having 30% or less HP, this one involves having 90% or higher. This means your priority is to keep the driver healthy and to keep aggro away from them. And there's also Tea Leaves, which is also a bit of an AoE. It also knocks people back and has a high critical rate. Golden Font is, in my mind, the most important move on this particular blade. The reason why is because in addition to doing big damage, it also makes the monster drop money, or makes the target drop money. To this end, they have an ability called Economic Animal, and what this does is it increases attack power as you pick up gold during the battle to a max of 333% at level 5. This is extremely useful because the thing about this particular blade is that you're going to be focusing on repositioning yourself very often and optimizing the spot that you're on. The better your positioning is and the better you can set up your abilities, the much faster you can burn through your encounters. So that's what Golden Font is for. And finally, Royal Tea Party. It looks really nice and does a good amount of damage. So, Blade Arts, Critical Up and Arts Plus, they're very self-explanatory. Again, Azami also had this one, but what really sets Sheba apart is Back Attack Up. It increases backstab damage and halves aggro while you're behind enemies. So this means that you will want to prioritize, and since you'll be picking up golds most of the time anyway, it's very important to take advantage of every step that you take, ensuring that you're always plopped on the opposite side of where the tank is. So yeah. In terms of other battle skills, there's Untitled Entourage, very useful since it increases damage dealt by 30% for each female, up to about a maximum. I'm not sure if it includes blades. I think it does include, I think it includes drivers too. But yeah, like you're gonna have up to about, yeah, I think 120% additional damage if it doesn't include, if it also does include drivers. And financial settlements, again, it's actually very easy to gain aggro with this particular moveset, so it's important to play around that. Financial settlements helps you deal with that a little bit better. And finally, there is the auxiliary cores I'll just quickly go into. I have Blade Combo Boost and Affinity Max Attack, since this is essentially the focal point of my playstyle, where I would build up Blade Combos as much as quickly as I can, while also sitting at max Affinity as soon as I can. And finally, Auto Attack Stealth. This is very important for any Ether Cannon, in my mind, where you would reduce the amounts of aggro that you draw with your auto attacks. This means that when you're initiating a battle, you don't have to wait for the tank to initiate first. You can take a couple of pot shots, and by the time you get your 3 shots off, the tank will already be there. So, before we look at the Affinity Chart, the first thing you have to know about this particular blade is that the Affinity Chart can potentially be maxed out, or sorry, can be unlocked for you guys the moment you get the blade, and in order to do that you have to put money into piggy bank, but we're going to show you where that piggy bank is right now. Currently I am in Argentum in Goldsmith, and I'm going to quickly put the map here. My goodness, I love this feature. And yeah, you want to go over to the right side of the map. You're going to find a Nopon merchant who will sell you access to the warehouse for 100,000. Once you pay the 100,000, it's all yours. If you don't want to pay the 100,000 or you don't have it, feel free to check out my gold farming video, which I will put in the description, as well have it at the end of the video. But if you don't want to pay that, you can also just jump down here, swim around, and then break open the lock. However, be warned, there is a pretty steep requirement for this one. You need a level 2 super strength and a level 4 Nopon wisdom. It's probably much easier just to pay the 100,000. Once you get access to this room, you will get access to the piggy bank. Once you're here, you will be able to actually donate any amount of money, and you will unlock your affinities that way. So, going back to Sheba on the blade menu, we're going to quickly make our way back down, and affinity. So, obviously, level 1 will always be unlocked because obviously you have to start from somewhere. After that, to get level 2, you have to donate a total of 200,000. To get level 3, it becomes 400,000, 600,000 for level 4, and finally a grand total of 1 million. Now don't worry, it's not like it's all adding up that you need 2.2 mil, you just need the 1 million. Every value that you have given to the piggy bank early on will stack, so you don't have to worry about having to pay extra. As well, economic animal, I believe you need to spend a grand total of, I believe 350,000 gold. Somewhere between 350,000 and 400,000. Again, there's a money farming method, quite easy, just so you guys know, and very much worth it. This is a huge bonus, and definitely going to help you tear through your enemies. Being a water type, you can burn through your fire types really easily, and also by virtue of being a water type, you can synergize really well with Nia and Poppy, or with Tora, so keep that in mind. Entitled Entourage, again, more damage for every female in battle. That's great, I love it. And financial settlement. This is technically locked behind the story. You have to get 10 cups of tea from every cafe in every town. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's technically, but it's very useful. You definitely want to get this as soon as possible, because keeping aggro off of you is going to be your main priority. Otherwise, you won't be doing as much damage, and obviously, if you're dead, you can't do any damage. So, golden font. And all these ones, again, it's like the opposite of Azami in the sense that you need to have high health to do extra damage, and that's pretty easy to do. So Desert Bomb, 100% more, and it just increases every single time. Very easy to unlock. Tea Leaves, it's very passive damage increase with the critical damage, which is always welcome. You won't be using it as much. Most of the time, you will mainly just be using Desert Bomb and Golden Font, but I'll get into that later in the demonstration. Now, Golden Fonts, you'll actually notice that I believe at level 3, it actually becomes technically locked behind a story event in that you need to unlock a certain area. So for those of you guys that don't know, at Chapter 5, this is very important and slightly spoiler territory, but I promise I won't divulge anything. I'm just going to quickly open up the map. So you have to go to Temperantia, and you have to open the Central Plain. And you have to jump down onto like this particular the weapon remains, and then go to like you can go Leaning Tower of Doric, or go all the way down to the Ardanian garrison. There are 5 wolf type enemies that you'll have to get in order to unlock the 3rd level of the Golden Font, and I highly recommend doing that because it increases the chance that you get of dropping gold, and you don't want to waste any time. This marker, keep this marker in mind. Make sure that your character is situated on the map where this marker is, because that is where the enemies are located. There's about 2 or 3. I believe there's 3, and you pretty much just have to kill those 2 enemies, and then you can like quick travel back to like Overlook Hill, for example, and then warp back to here. It'll respawn, and then you kill the remaining 2. Boom, you have it unlocked. So yeah, that's basically going to do it for the playstyle. Anyways, I'm going to quickly cut the video, and I will show you exactly what this monster can do. Alrighty, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and fight against this unique monster, and as you guys know, the general rule with the unique monsters is that even though we're substantially stronger or higher leveled than him at this point, they still do pack a mean punch, and if you're not careful, it's going to wipe your entire team. Now, the main priority here is to make sure that you're always on the opposite end of the tank. The reason why is because you want to make use of that back attack up as much as possible. Not to mention that it also helps remove the aggro, or remove the chance of you getting aggro for this particular encounter. The other annoying thing about this particular encounter is the fact that the attack that he uses, he's able to make his rings spin around so that no matter where you are, you'll still take massive damage, which is very bad considering that we kind of rely on having a large pool of HP for this particular blade. But it's pretty easy to earn back since you do have the healer to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch. And yeah, in terms of other blades that you can bring to your loadouts, I would recommend trying to have another healer, since you can maintain that high health pool. Or you can also consider bringing your another ether cannon. The reason why is because like you are supposed to always be moving around anyway, but with the Ether Cannon, you can stay in one spot. Now, obviously, that might be more effective when you're using it on say, a much lower leveled enemy, where you don't have to worry about collecting money, but in fights like this, where you're trying to build up as much damage as you possibly can, that's something you want to be looking forward to. So what I'm doing over here, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm looking at the meter in the top right corner, making sure that I will have enough, and there we go. I want to delay that as much as possible so that Nia will be the one that does the level 3 combo. I really can't emphasize enough how important it is to actually make sure that the person that's using Sheba does not do the level 3 combos. The reason why is because it's very easy to gain aggro when you're using the level 3 combo, so that's something that you really don't need. Because if you get aggroed, you will of course take damage, and also if you die, any stacks that you have obtained through your gold or picking up the gold for Sheba will also be lost, so keep that in mind. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have that happen, and off we go. So you can repeat this pattern over and over again. You want to get your golden font as often as you possibly can, because that's going to be the thing giving you your damage. And you can see over here, I'm actually going to quickly switch over to my healer. I could also use Pyra. Having Pyra is very useful, just because you can focus on bringing your topples. Otherwise, yeah, we have the Aqua, and again, I'm going to do exactly what I did last time. I'm going to save my level 3 so that the Aqua is almost fully depleted. And I'm going to switch back to Sheba, and quickly reposition myself back. And remember, it's very important to always auto-attack cancel everything. Whenever you auto-attack cancel, you give yourself the extra 20% damage. That's always welcome, especially for a character like this who can do tons of damage, so why not stack it? And we can auto-attack cancel this, and off we go. Yeah. It takes a bit of practice, but one of the things about Sheba that you really have to take in mind is that even though she has so many advantages for, you know, keeping aggro off of herself, the thing is, it's very easy to still get caught. It's still easy to get caught by the other enemies. And in order to rectify that, you really have to coordinate with the rest of your team. Obviously, these are the things that come with practice, but once you do, though, it's totally worth it. This particular blade is quite potent. Okay, I think Nia's gonna have the splash hazard pretty soon. I hope so. And yeah, just creeping on that. No, okay, she missed it. Never mind. Alright, so yeah, she's gonna go ahead and hit with the Aqua again, and just like before, I'm going to wait for the Aqua to be nearly completely depleted. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a healer to ensure that everyone's health is okay. Yeah. In terms of, yeah, other blades, again, Ether Cannon's a good idea, Healer's a good idea. Feel free to experiment. Obviously, I don't claim to be the lead authority on these kinds of builds, but this has been the thing that has worked with me fairly often. So yeah, I can go ahead and work on the back attack here. And since we got the launch, we might not be able to make it in time. Okay, got the Venom Water. And by now, Nia should be pretty close to building up for her level 3 meter. In any event, though, like, always try to keep yourself here. Once we get the top wall, I'm going to switch into that splash hazard, because that's going to be some massive damage. Oh, actually, no, I can do it myself. There we go. Now that he's toppled, we're going to go ahead and take this extra damage for the splash hazard. And there should be curtains for this guy. Is it? Almost. We're almost there. Yeah, and that should essentially be it. Let's see. Probably wait until... Like, I feel like by the time Sheba's ready to be used... No, yeah, because he's shielding himself. That's one of the nice things about the Ether Cannon, is the fact that even when the enemy shields themselves, you can still keep building meter for yourself. It's quite useful. But yeah, you actually notice that I never used the Desert Bomb, even though earlier I mentioned that the Desert Bomb is one of the main specials you'll be using. I could. In terms of lower level encounters or much shorter encounters, then using the Splash Bomb is quite useful because, again, scales with the extra health, it has a large AoE. But in drawn out fights like this, I recommend on focusing on spamming your level 3 combo, the Golden Font. Anyways, that basically does it for the Sheba showcase. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys check this character out. She's a lot of fun to use, quite rewarding in her own way. Like, you have to really pony up some serious dough in order to get her to reach her full potential, but she has the ability to reach that potential much earlier than all the other blades in the game, and I hope you guys all give it a whirl. She's 500k at Torgoth, and very much so worth the price of admission. Take care, everyone.